up, family? You're probably looking behind me going, wait a second, that doesn't look like our classroom. It's because it's not. You might have heard, but we teachers are now required to stay at home. So we're not allowed to go into the building, at least for the next few days. So things keep changing on us. So for right now, I will be teaching you from my house. So this is kind of sort of part of my living room. This door is actually magnetic, thankfully. So look at this. Look, got magnets up here. Isn't that cool? And I know you're wondering, where does this door go to? I'm not telling you. It's a secret. All right. Look, I have a whiteboard though. Yay! It's actually Ava's, but she's letting me use it to teach you today.
Hi.
Oh, there she goes. Say hi, Ava.
Hi.
See, she's working hard over on her Chromebook doing her school stuff. Right now, she's actually in Atlas, so it's okay. So, oh, and look, it's Mr. Dunlap. It's the whole Dunlap family.
We need a dog and a cat.
Oh,
Okay.
the dog and the cat are here. You might see them at some point during
The
this
dog's
math
right
class.
here.
Oh, Ellie's sleeping on the couch. And I don't know where the cat is.
Oh, they can also see our wedding picture.
Oh, there's our wedding
Let me
picture.
zoom in on that.
Look, weren't we so young looking? Look at that.
All right,
We're
now,
so cute. All right.
now we have to get to business.
Yeah, we gotta actually work today. Are you ready? So, welcome to my house. Welcome to my dining room. Welcome to our new classroom. And look, I have a learning target for you. I hope you can see it. I'm gonna hold it up close to you. The only thing that's different is I added subtract. Since we started talking about subtraction yesterday, I thought it would be a good idea for us to add it into our learning targets. Our learning target says I can add and subtract fractions and mixed numbers with like denominators. And remember, we said this like denominators just means they like each other because they're the same denominator. All right, and that's all we're going to be focusing on. There are ways to add fractions with different denominators, but hey, you're going to get that next year in 5th grade, so I don't want to spoil anything for you. All right, so we're just focusing on fractions that have the same denominators. All right, today we're going to take a little step toward adding mixed numbers. Now, if you remember, what is a mixed number? Stop and think. Mixed number. You know what a fraction is? Fraction is a piece of a whole, or a part of a whole, or there's my cat.
It's kind of like my cat.
Look, there she is.
Can I be in the
This
video?
is Lucy. This is Ava's kitty. Oh, she doesn't really like to be held, so this is like a special thing. Oh, look, and see, the dog is jealous of the cat. So here's Ellie. I don't know if you can see her. Here's Ellie.
No.
Look. Meet Ellie. Hello. All right. Back to mixed numbers. All right. So if you remember, a fraction is a part of a whole or a part of a group. Also a fancy division problem. Okay. Mixed numbers, though, are when you have a whole number and a fraction together. All right. So this is what a mixed number looks like. So if I have a whole and then I make a fraction. Okay, so this is a mixed number. Eventually, we're going to talk about how to add those. Today, I just want to talk about what they are. Okay, so the other thing that we're going to talk about is something called an improper fraction. An improper fraction, I'm going to see if you could tell me what it looks like. What do you think an improper fraction is just by looking at this? So if I do, let's see here, 11/8. What is that? What is strange about that? All right, so here's what I want you to do. There's a question on your Google Classroom page that says, what do you think an improper fraction is? I want you to pause me for a minute, go answer that question, and then come back. You're looking for the question, what do you think an improper fraction is? What do you notice about this fraction, all right, that makes it improper? All right. Go to it. Come right back. Go. Okay. All right. So welcome back. So right now, Mr. Dunlap's coughing.
We
but
can
that's
cut
okay.
that.
Okay, welcome back.
So 11/8 is improper. And the reason we call this an improper fraction is because the numerator is larger than the denominator. It's larger than the denominator. Now, you need to know this because when we actually get to the step, we're going to work on this tomorrow, of mixed numbers and adding mixed numbers, you're going to come up and you're going to see some improper fractions. And you're going to be like, well, what do I do with it? I'm going to show you. This is where your decomposing comes into play. All right? So you have 11/8. We cannot keep it an improper fraction is improper. We have got to make it proper. So if I have an improper, that automatically tells me, well, wait a second, I have more than a whole. I have more than a whole. Because if you stop and think about it, if you decompose this fraction, you can do it very easily and show the whole number. Let me show you what I mean. I could make it into 8/8 plus 3/8. 8/8 plus 3/8 equals 11/8. So I decomposed it like this because watch this. We know that 8/8 equals 1 whole. 3/8 is what I have left over. So 11/8 is the same as 1 and 3/8. That's one way to do it. Okay? Let's take a look at another one. Let's say that I have 12/4. It's an improper fraction. All right? So I need to take my improper fraction and I need to make sure that it's proper. That means it either has a whole number or a mixed number, which is a whole number and a fraction. So we're going to decompose it. Now I want to decompose it so I can get as many whole numbers as possible. So let's think about this. If I have a denominator that says 4 and I want to make whole numbers, I probably should stick with fourths just to make my life easier. So let's figure it out. All right, so if I do 4/4 plus 4/4, okay, that's 8/4, but I need to get up to 12/4. So 4 plus 4 is 8, plus another 4 is 12. So I have 4/4 plus 4/4 plus 4/4. That's going to get me to 12/4. Now take a look at it. I have 1 whole, 1 whole, 1 whole. So if I put my wholes together, I have 3. So 12/4 is the same as 3 wholes. This time it's just a whole number. So sometimes your improper fraction will give you just a whole number. Sometimes it will give you a mixed number. Okay? Let's try another one. Let's try 15/4. So it's an improper fraction because your numerator is larger than your denominator. All right? We want to change it to make it into a proper fraction. That might be a whole number or a mixed number. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to decompose it. Okay? But we want to decompose it with as many wholes as we can do. So here's our fourths. So we're going to decompose it. 4/4 plus 4/4 plus, how many is that? That's 8/4. I got to keep going. Another 4. And now I have 12. 4, 8, 12. I need to get to 15. So if I add another 4, that's going to be too much. So I need to add another 3. So let's double check. 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. So I have 15/4 here. Okay, so this is going to equal 15/4. All right, but how many wholes do I have? I have 1 whole here, 1 whole here, 1 whole here, and then I have my 3/4. So all together I have 1, 2, 3 wholes with 3/4. So 15/4 is the same as 3 and 3/4. Okay? All right, I hope you're following along with me. This is a little tougher. And since I can't see you, you're going to have to do a really good job of emailing me questions, okay? So that if you're having trouble, I can help you. But you need to email me and let me know you're having a hard time, all right? Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to write one up here. $13/5. you're going to pause me in just a second. You're going to try it out on your own, and then you're going to come back and we're going to compare answers. Okay? So, see if you can decompose this. See if you can figure out if it's a whole number or a mixed number. All right? Just use scrap paper, whatever you have handy. All right? Pause me, and then come right back. Go. All right, you are back. So here's what we had. You had 13 fifths, and you had to decompose that. But remember, you want as many whole numbers as you can. So we always start with as many wholes as we can get. So we have 5 fifths plus 5 fifths. That, oh, there's
Excuse
a
me.
Dunlap coming out of that secret door. 5 fifths plus 5 fifths, that gets us to 10 fifths. All right, but look, we have 13. So that means I need to do another 3 fifths to get to 13 fifths. So let's just double check. 5 fifths plus 5 fifths is 10 fifths. Plus 3 is 13 fifths. How many holes do I have? You have 1 hole plus 1 hole plus 3 fifths. So altogether I have 2 and 3 fifths. So 13 fifths is the same as 2 and 3 fifths. You with me? So remember, this is your whole number. That's 2 whole pizzas. And then we have 3 fifths. So that means my next pizza, I'm not going to eat all of it. And you know I'm really bad at drawing fifths here. Okay? I'm just going to eat 3 fifths of it. Make sense? Okay. All right. We will be doing more of this. So this is just an introduction today. I just wanted you to practice a little bit. All right. We still need to check your morning work. So you go ahead and grab your morning work from this morning and get out a different colored pen or pencil. You're going to pause me, and then we'll come back and do that in just a second. All right, go. All right. Okay, so you should have your morning work when you're checking day 4. First problem is 56 times 22. I'm going to use standard algorithm. I don't care what strategy you use as long as your product matches mine. Okay? So I'm doing standard algorithm, so I'm going to multiply 2 times 6 is 12, and I need to regroup. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. Okay, so I went from here to here and here to here. I'm done with this. I'm going to cross it off so I don't get confused. Since I'm going to the tens place to multiply, I need my happy magic 0. And then I multiply. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And when I add up my partial products, I get 2, 3, 2, 1. So it's 1,232. All right. The next one. The perimeter of a rectangle is 60 meters. If the length of the rectangle is 14 meters, what is the width of the rectangle? This is one you get to use your calculator on. All right, so if you skipped this one and you had trouble with it, it's okay. I want you to try it now with your calculator. And you have a calculator on your Chromebook. All right, but we always start with what we know. We know perimeter means that we are just measuring the very outside of the rectangle. Okay, so just the outside. Area is on the inside. I'm not talking about area right now. The problem says perimeter. So we are going around. All right. The whole thing is 60 meters. So that's what the problem says. If I start here and I walk here, I walk here, I walk here, and I walk here, it's going to be 60 meters altogether. Okay. The length of the rectangle is 14 meters. What is the width of the rectangle? This is what we don't know. So this is our unknown. So this is our variable. All right, so I'm going to make it, I don't know, D for Dunlap. So we know that this is 14, and we know this is D. So for perimeter, I know that 14 plus D plus 14 plus D is going to give me 60. Problem is, I don't know what D is. I do know that this is 14 and this is 14. So let's start with what we know. 14 plus 14 is 28. So I know this plus this is 28. Now I have to add the D's. Plus D equals 60. how am I going to figure out what the D's are? Like, I have to figure out how much out of the 60 I still have to play with, to figure out. So I'm going to subtract 60 minus 28. And when I do that, I get 32. So I have 32 meters left. So this and this together is 32. But I need to know how much just one side is. So I'm not going to figure that out. I got to think about this. I know this plus this is going to give me 32. That's what's left. The way to find one of those is to divide. All right, I'm going to get down. I hope I can get back up. Yes, Mr. Dunlap.
You're on your own.
Ah!
I have an appointment.
I'm going to edit this out.
I don't know what I'm gonna edit.
Okay.
Daddy,
32 divided by 2. All right. So I'm going to multiply. I subtract. I get 1. It's smaller than 2. I bring down my 2. 2 into 12 goes 16. I multiply. 0. So 16. So my one side equals 16. Now we can double check and make sure. You can do 14 plus 16 plus 14 plus 16 on your calculator, and you're going to come up with 60. All right, that was a hard one. Let me know if you have questions. All right, let's take a look at the next one. I'm going to erase it. If the fraction 26 hundredths is the same as 0.26, then 33 hundredths equals decimal point 33. So let's talk about this for just a second. I told you before that there's a way to write fractions as decimals. We've talked about it with tenths before. So we said 7/10 is the same as 7/10. That decimal lets you know it's a part. The whole number goes on the other side. Okay, so if I wanted to squeeze a whole number in, I'd put my whole number here. All right, there's no whole number. All right, so I just have the part. So the decimal is the same thing as a fraction. It shows the same thing. It shows part of a whole or part of a group. So we have 7/10 here, 7/10 here. Well, it's the same thing if you have hundredths. You have 26 hundredths, then you do decimal point 26. You have 33 hundredths, you do decimal point 33. You show it the same way. It still means a part of a whole or a part of a group. Okay? Last one. Let me make room up here. 3 3/8. And I like to write mine up and down like this. So that's what I'm going to do. 2 and 5/8. All right. So if I do 3/8 plus 5/8, then I'm going to get 8/8. And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier. When you go to add these mixed numbers, you're going to see those improper fractions a lot. Even though this is not larger than this, it's the same. So that is still considered improper. We will not leave it like this. Okay? We'll come back to that in a minute. 3 plus 2 is 5. Those are your whole numbers. That's what you've been adding all this time since you were like in kindergarten. 3 plus 2 is 5. This part, what's that? You know this. What is it? 1 whole. So if I have 5 and another whole, then how many wholes do I have? 6. All right, so you have to convert that to 1 whole to get 6. So this should be your final answer. All right, and if you messed that up or if you were confused on that, please don't stress. We're going to do a whole lot more with adding mixed numbers in the next couple of days. Okay? All right, now I have to get up. All right. Hey, Craig, Ava, is my head still in there? Ooh. There we go.
That's
Second.
better.
Better? Okay. All right, Dunlap family, good work today. So what you need to do now is go back to Google Classroom. There's a link there. There's an assessment that I need you to do for me today. That assessment is on Google. You just make sure you hit submit. Don't forget to hit submit and it'll come to me. It is on adding and subtracting fractions, and there will be just a couple questions in there about improper fractions and mixed numbers, just to see if you've been listening. Okay? I love you. I miss you. I hope to see you very soon. Keep working hard. Keep emailing me. Love you. Bye.